All right. Good evening, Cypher friends. This Midi Man coming at you again from Walks Music here back in Studio B. Sitting here, telling you we want to give God praise and honor and glory. Thank God for all of you, the Cypher friends, know who you are. As you see the title of my video, it said The Temptations. And I just wanted to do a shout out to one of the baddest, greatest male groups that ever was of all time. And matter of fact, it was though one of my favorite groups is male vocal groups. And I'm talking about you had some dynamic singers in this here group. Matter of fact, I remember a while back my buddy Floyd Carter. He gave me a videotape back during the day when we was using VHS tapes. Matter of fact, you don't see too many VCRs anymore. Maybe you could find a few at a pawn shop somewhere. Maybe you might could find them, but I know you cannot purchase them where I haven't seen any place where I could purchase one. But at any rate, it was back in the days of the VHS tape. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I was fortunate enough to find the video footage, and I made me a DVD of that the movie of the same name, The Temptations. It was about the life of the Temptations. But during the time when they was coming up, before they were the Temptations, they got with Motown and everything. And Floyd had that VHS on it, and I sat and listened to it, and I watched that film, and I was very impressed. And I wanted to say some things to all of my friends and close constituents. And Midi Man is one. I don't judge a book by its cover, and I want to make certain that I sit here and make the statement, make it known, make it very well known that Midi Man, I do not know any of the Temptations personally. Never had a chance to meet any of them. Love their singing, love their style and finesse. Still do to this very day. If I'm not mistaken, I think Otis Williams, and I always thought Otis was the leader of the group. I always said that. Matter of fact, I always gave Otis that accolade and credit that he was the leader of that group. Now, I remember they said David Ruffin, he wanted to name the group one time David Ruffin and the Temptations, but they wouldn't allow it. Otis wasn't going to hear for that, I don't think. In other words, that was a group, the Temptation. It's just like it was when I was with the Cross of Calvary. In other words, I named that gospel group. We had it, me and Arthur Butler. We had the group together. In other words, the gospel group, and I named it the Cross of Calvary Gospel Singers. That's the way I named it. I didn't use my name or his name. We just had it the Cross of Calvary Gospel Singers. And that's the way the Temptation has always been, the Temptation, point blank. Needless to say that there were always at least 3 lead singers in Temptation. Those guys, all of them could sing, everyone. That was the thing about the Temptation, that everybody in that group could sing, everybody. And all of them were tall, my height or better, because I'm 6'2" myself, in other words, and I stunted my growth with smoking. So, but they was all over 6 feet tall. But what I came to say on this night, on this live feed, I wanted to give them a shout out because, like I said, if I'm not mistaken, I think Dennis Edwards and Otis are the only 2 guys left that was from the original Temptations. Because like I said, it was 2 sets of Temptations at one time, y'all. It was 2 sets of Temptations at one time. But now I got to give the shout out to why I'm doing this video. I was looking at an interview that they had with I was looking at one on YouTube not too long ago where they had the interview whoever it was. I'm not certain who did the interview, but they interviewed David Ruffin and Eddie Kendricks. And let me start off by saying this here. In my opinion, there will never be two better singers than those guys, David Ruffin and Eddie Kendricks. I mean, I know that we got a lot of other guys and gals that sing. I know that, but it's just my personal opinion. And listening to all those guys' records from the 60s all the way up until they really stopped making records as the original. Those original temps now, in other words, now, as far as I know, it was Otis Williams, Melvin Franklin, which is the bass singer, Paul Williams, Eddie Kendricks, and David Ruffin. David came on to the group, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the movie portrayed it as when they got the deal with Motown. I think they got the deal with Motown just a little bit before David came on to the group. I'm not certain about that now, but at any rate, because they had one guy that did not make it with them. He for some or whatever reason, according to the movie, he bailed out on them and everything because he figured it wasn't going to work. I reckon. I don't know because, like I say, I do not know or did not know any of those Temptations personally. I don't know nothing about them no more than they was a great male vocalist group. They were good. But as I was sitting here and I was listening to Eddie and David give this interview, it's an old interview, but back in, I guess should have been back in the 90s maybe, when they gave this interview. As we know, both David and Eddie is no longer with us. They passed on to reward. But the thing about it, David and Eddie had the vocals. Those boys could straight sing. I mean, hands down, they were awesome. And according to the movie, now, like I say, I don't know anything about any of those boys. Can't tell you nothing about them. I'm talking about what it said in the movie. The way they portrayed things in the movie. Could be correct, could not be. I don't know. Don't take my word for it because I'm telling you, I do not know anything about any of them. Only speaking about what I've observed. Say that David was always in trouble. He didn't want to do what was right in the group. According to the movie, David was always, he had got involved in drugs and whatnot, and he was missing shows and everything that was detrimental to the group, and it always hurt the group. And he wasn't showing up for the gig they was having, and it was really causing a lot of problems for the group. Now that's the way the movie portrayed everything. Now I don't know that to be accurate. I'm just saying what the movie. I'm just relaying back to you the way the movie portrayed it, and it caused a lot of friction with Eddie in the group as well, because Eddie would really care a lot for David, and he was especially crazy about Paul Williams, because according to the movie, that Eddie and Paul came from a group called the Primes before he got with. In other words, it was a venture. It was a joint venture between Paul Williams and Eddie from the Primes, and Otis Williams and Melvin Franklin from the Temptations. That's what made the group be the Temptations. When they first, it was two groups, and an additional lead singer by the name of David Ruffin. And that's where that original Temptation was formed up. So Blue, which is Melvin Franklin, Otis, Paul, David, and Eddie, those are the 5 original Temptations, as far as I'm concerned, because that other guy that was with them from the beginning, he bailed out on them at the early days. So he never really was a part of the legacy, or if you want to call it that. He never was really a part of the legacy with those Temptations, the original 5. Even though he was one of the original ones that were with them, but he bailed out on them before they became the Temptations. What I say all that, y'all? I said all that because as I was sitting here there listening to David and Eddie talk and loving their songs all throughout the years, from the way you do the thing you do with their first hit in the 60s. That was their first hit. And then My Girl. I mean, and then countless others that followed that. But those two stuck out like a sore thumb. Even to this day, people love, I listen to them all the time, even now. The way you do the thing you do, and My Girl, those are just two. And Papa was a Rolling Stone. In other words, now, even though Papa was a Rolling Stone, if I'm not mistaken, Dennis Edward had came into the group at that time. I think during that time, I think David Ruffin had exited the group. In other words, they said, according to the movie, they said they kicked David out. And it caused a lot of friction with Eddie because Eddie was crazy about Paul and David. And then Eddie eventually left the group as well, according to the movie. But I don't know this here to be for certain. But I can sit here and say that I observed some things from watching this movie. From watching this movie and from listening to the interviews that I've heard with Otis, David, and Eddie, I can tell you this much: from being in a group myself, I've like I told you, man, a partner of mine, Arthur Butler, we had a gospel group we formed back in the early 2004, I believe it was, and then I ended up we didn't see eye to eye on some issues and things, so I severed my relationship from the Cross Calvary Gospel Singers. I handed it back to my partner. I just, my part of it was broken, so I left the group. And here last year, I had tried to get another gospel group started for about 8 years or better, to no success. I had no success in it, but nevertheless, last year around the summer, I did manage to get the gospel tritone together, and we did come together, organized, name a group Junior Walker and the Gospel Tritone. And only thing we've done so far is made a Christmas EP last year. We finished that up just a little bit before Thanksgiving. I gave the rest of the members of the group the holidays off, Thanksgiving and Christmas. I gave them off, told them we would meet back again in January. That's never happened yet. That ain't happened yet. So in other words, we are here in the 6th month of another year, but because of the pandemic and all of the social distancing and all of the mess that's been going on, we haven't had a chance to meet again, not one time this year at all. Well, actually, we haven't done anything since we made the EP. And so when I was listening to that, David and Eddie with this interview, they was talking about all the ups and the downs that they group went through, which is normal. It always gonna be some sort of issue. These are not the only thing that I've been involved with, especially in this year decade. Well, not this decade, but the last decade, from 2000 to 2010. I was also involved with another buddy of mine, Reverend Flowers, and another guy. We started a record company, and in other words, I named it Valley Records. I'm always naming something. I guess I just got that. That's one of my gifts. I don't know, but I named it Valley Records. And me and Reverend Flowers, we started that. That was in his backyard up in Lumpkin, Georgia, and he was married to a young lady named Jackie at that time, and and he got some lady that he knew with his wife. He had another lady named Betty. We got to know Betty. We love Betty as well, and had another girl. She was one of my favorite singers, Kim Daniels. And see, at that particular time, he had those singers, and I named them the Valleyettes. In other words, because the reason I named them the Valleyettes because I thought about the Raylettes, and so I named them the Valleyettes, Olin Flowers and the Valleyettes. I gave the Reverend Flowers, his thing. It was his idea. He the one that he brought me in it to help him out to set things up, and I was grateful for that he asked me to do that. But what I'm saying is, after sitting here and listening to David and Eddie, and then I'm listening at I know that I don't even come put myself in the same class of singing with the old guy, even when I had a voice. Um, right now, I don't have the best one I'm trying to use. I'm doing like my former pastor said, use what you got. So that's what I'm trying to do, is trying to continue to use what I got. Um, I was listening at David and he talk about their group in the Temptation, that one of the best groups of all time. And I think about all the hardships that they had. And then, the movie portrayed it one way. Now, I don't know, is that accurate? I don't know if it's accurate or not, but I believe to a degree it might be pretty accurate, because anytime you get involved with anything that's worthwhile, it's always going to be one or two people in it. They're going to cause problems. They're not going to they're gonna be late, mess up. They don't want to do what's supposed to be done in order to be successful in it. And I'm sitting here as a living witness, and I know for certain, without a reasonable doubt, people, that if anything's going to be easy, everybody will do it. That lets me know that most things in life, and I don't live long enough now to realize that, and I see it like black and white, is if it's going to be worth it, it's going to take a price you're going to have to pay. It's always going to be a price that you're going to have to pay. It is never going to be cheap. You're going to have to learn to sacrifice. See, we are the type of people, we don't want to sacrifice nothing, but we want everything just to work automatically and be like chocolate and syrup and with a cherry on top and whipped cream. But we don't think that we are supposed to be able to put no hard effort into it. You're going to have to put hard effort into anything to make it successful. It's like I said, we are here in a pandemic. In other words, some of us, including myself, we got to have some innovative ideas in order to get this thing back rocking, y'all, because people are still scared. Nobody wants to make a move. Somebody's going to have to be brave enough to make a move and to get something started, something that some innovation we got to do. We got to come up with something to get things back on the move. Now, like I said, as far as my group, Junior Walker and the Gospel Tritone, I don't know what to tell y'all about that. Not yet. I don't know what to tell you about it. Church, the choir, I know that, first of all, in my opinion, you can't sing with no mask on. People still want to wear masks and stuff. You can't sing with no mask on. So I don't understand how that's going to work out. Even into the choir situation, if we distance the people out 6 feet apart, well, you ain't gonna have much room in no choir, not in no regular choir, because in these rural churches, the choir stand is not that large, and so what you talking about, maybe just 2 or 3 people that may even be in the choir. And I know that my pastor graciously gave me the pulpit if I needed that, but that still ain't gonna stand about maybe 2 or 3 more. So, you talking about a real issue here. And some of us going to have to come up with some more innovative ways to do something more spectacular than that. Because I say, in my opinion, you can't sing with no mask on. You can try, but I don't even like wearing them. So I know I won't be able to sing. I just barely can sing now. And put on a mask, I know that's going to kill me. That'll kill my singing right there, because I just barely can do any good singing as it is right now. And so we just saying, when I was listening to David and Eddie, and they both going on the reward now. But those were 2 great singers. Those were 2 great singing boys, and that whole group was great. Matter of fact, like I said, we still have Otis with us, if I'm not mistaken, and I think we still have Dennis. But all the rest of them is going on to reward. But I wanted to come in and make mention of that and give them the Temptation shout out and know. And I wanted to also let y'all know that I understood exactly what I was looking at when I watched that movie about the lives of the Temptation because, like I said, being involved in two groups myself, as well as a record company to a degree, an independent record company at that. Me and Reverend Flowers of Valley Records back in 2000. I think we started that in 2005. But it didn't last long because of, like I said, because of the main thing about issues with people not doing what's right and everything. We're not going to call any name. We're just going to let all names be silent. But I do know that when you got people that's involved in something and they don't have the same interests and everything, and they are not on one accord, and they are not on the same wavelength, things are not going to work. Not accordingly. It's going to be very, very rough to work, if at all. If you can get it to work, somebody's going to have to do some hard laboring. Because when you got one or two people that's determined that they're going to have it their way, they're not going to do what they're asked to do. They're not going to show up for rehearsal on time. Sometimes they ain't going to even come to rehearsal. They don't want to come. They just stay off just because they don't want to come. It's hard to get anything stable like that. And then, when you got people saying one thing to you, and then when they get with other people, they saying something else. That's two-faced. So in other words, don't tell me that you for something, then you tell somebody else you're not. Don't get on my bad side. That will get you on my bad side quicker than anything. Cause if you are not with some, tell me. Don't tell me one thing and then get with somebody else and tell them something else. Oh, can't stand that. That will get you on my bad side for quicker than anything. And so, like I said, I'm just kind of lost for words right now. And I was just, when I was sitting here trying to figure out which way to go. I listened to David and Eddie on that interview, and it just got my mind to working. And I got to thinking about things. And so, with that being said, this middleman saying that we're going to try to, I got a couple of things that I got to try to bring in and try to get it in my studio. I'm trying to get it in a way whereas I can do things myself. That's what I'm trying to do. I just let y'all in on that. I'm trying to get everything set up in a vicinity in my studio whereas I can sit down in one spot and I can just about control everything in there. And to a degree where I won't have to do so much movement because I can't. It really doing too much movement. It really gets next to me. I lose my footing, and I don't want to mess around and fall inside that studio and over there. And I be by myself. And if I fall and hit my head on something, I fall and can't get up, I'll be in a very, very bad way. So I'm trying to get everything sorted and situated so I can click buttons and mash remotes and get my keyboard in front of me and my microphone and everything where I can do everything myself. I won't have to worry about nobody and I can just do it myself. That's where I'm aiming for right now. So, with that being said, I'm just saying I hope and pray. This is the Sabbath and the Jewish Sabbath. I normally used to do communion on a Friday night. You can't even do communion no more. Everybody just ain't on the same wavelength no more. And I'm not the type of person I got to keep on begging folks. I don't beg. I ask, and then that's it. I'm not going to beg anybody. So with that being said, we're just saying we hope and pray that everybody be okay. Happy Sabbath to all of you. All my Jewish counterparts, my Jewish friends, y'all take care of yourself, and happy Sabbath day to each and every one of y'all. And we are hoping and praying that everything goes well. The remainder of this year, we are looking for some good days to come out of it because so far, y'all, it's been kind of rough. And this 2020 came in and it went downhill from there. So with that being said, this middleman saying whatever you get into, if God ain't in it, please, ma'am, please, sir, come on out of it because it's going to come to nothing. All right. I see, Sister Jackie, you came in, you chimed in, and I'm just going to get out of here. So it's good to see you. You can check on the replay. They going to YouTube and everything, but I just finna sign off. I didn't even know you was in there. So with that being said, we appreciate you as well. You know that. And just say, give everybody another God, all the inner circle friends. And we will talk to you on another time. So you have a good night. All right. Good night.